The time is 7:32 p.m. It is September 13th, 2023. I'm relaxing. It's been a weird day of false evidence appearing real, but I'm noticing these people. Sorry, I just had some Nutella. I'm not going to get into too much of it because it's not been a bad day. It's been a day where I've been noticing the energy people carry far too much. I don't want to get the mirror, so I'm just going to use the camera. Um, the story I have to tell you is going to tie in everything today. So I'm going to go on all the branches and all the topics, and we're going to have a little therapy session. Okay? Story time. There will be channeled messages in this. There might be some card playing. Grab your whatever you're going to drink. Hopefully it's non-alcoholic, and just chill out. Grab your creams or whatever. I'm just going to tell you the story. Most of you already know most of the story, so we're just going to kind of jump around. You know the story of Inanna, how she went into the underworld, etc. Well, when she came back out, Tamuzi, or whatever his name was, let's call him Timmy, was doing his party thing, drinking, doing whatever, while his wife was being treated like a walking fleshlight, like a walking sex toy in the underworld, and then killed. They don't tell you that part in the story of what they did to her before they killed her, because it's just too much. So that woman goes, like goddess, goes through all that stuff and then comes back out after nobody, like barely anybody other than one person and two pieces of like animated something to help her. Uncle, right? The uncle helping her, and then the something from like the dust or something from his fingernails got turned into two messengers. They went in there at the behest of her friend, an honest friend, so on and so forth. Well, when she got out and she saw Tamuzi, the deal was with, Ereshkigal or whatever, that someone would take her place. And she saw him, and the story goes that she sent him down there out of jealousy and whatever, or rage or some shit. And then, like, he goes down there, and then his sister goes after him. My guides have been playing the story in my head and on YouTube for 3 days now. And I'm like, okay, this is the third day. And I wasn't gonna, I didn't even think about it when I woke up today. But when I woke up, there was a man walking up and down the driveway, like smoking a cigarette and video recording the windows of my house. So by the time I went and got the camera to record him back, he just started walking back and forth, looking at his cell phone. I'm just like, whoops, I'm just looking at my cell phone. And I'm like, I can see your cell phone screen. You're recording the floor now. But the thing was, he was wearing red. Like, he looked like the Kool-Aid man. Or the Red Bull. And then that story of Inanna flooded through my head again, of the Bull of Heaven, which is Ereshkigal's husband, being killed because Inanna sent him to take out Gilgamesh or something. I don't know. Some absurd story to make Inanna look like the bad guy. So I'm noticing him and he's like walking back and forth like a bull. And I'm like, weird. So I ignore it and I go about my day and I'm playing with the cat and I'm redecorating and all this stuff and just cleaning. And then I hear people talking outside again. And I'm like, what's going on over there? And it's the people that regularly stalk me around this area. Like, it's so obvious, like it's a running joke now. So, whatever. Or I'm perceiving it that way. And it reminded me again of Inanna being like looking out and seeing like her friends and family just partying and having a good old time. And she just like came back from the dead from the underworld and nobody like bothered. They were too busy. And I was like, what is this? This is like an ancient wound that's replaying, as the whole as within, so without thing. I'm like, what is this? And then this old woman, like an old neighbor who's a lovely woman, but the archetype of an old woman, walks up to these two guys who have attempted to RAPE me already. And the people, the police and stuff did nothing. So I'm watching her and she's like rolling up on her literal stroller. She's so cute. And she goes up to them and she's talking and she causes like an interference, changes the topic or whatever she did. Because one of them was showing the other one pictures on his cell phone while pointing at my window. And I'm like, what are these people doing? And then she's like walking up to them and they're talking and they change the topic. And then I just sat there and then I heard my ancestors again about the whole Inanna story. And I'm like, okay, what is this? Like, what is this? So then I was shown a whole series of visiony things, like story time in my head. But it was story time of the relationship I had with the person everybody knows about by now, and his relationship with his mother. And I was like, hmm. So the relationship I had with him, fast forward, played in my mind, like in an instant. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I noticed a thread in there, the male and female dynamic between him and his mother, the dynamic between me and my mother, the dynamic between him and his father, which left when he was younger, and his mother raised him with different partners. And my mother and father, who have been married their entire lives, they've been together. So, and in my family dynamic, my mom's more of the head of the household, and the father is the provider kind of thing. And in his family, his mother is the provider and the head of the household, and the men are just kind of use him and lose him. And I'm not saying that offensively. Like she's not the kind of person that's like, you know, a home cooking kind of mom that has grandchildren and she cares about them. No, she's like one of those people who was like a businesswoman who got pregnant and cared about her career more. My mother is the kind of mother who like gave up her career and focused on family more. So they're complete different dynamics. My dad is there, his dad left and went to another family. It's very, very mirrored. Okay. So they were showing me the relationship of him and his mother. And then the relationship, his past self and his mother's past self, or parallel previous, whatever, the previous incarnation that we existed in 100 years ago, where he was my dad and his mother in this life was his wife. And I was like, weird, but I know this. Why are you showing me this? And then I got shown a photo album of all of their past lives. And I was like, wait a minute. And then, and then my cheeky, spicy guide was like, you ready? And I was like, no. And then they're like, in Assyrian, they asked me, Maile, and instantly, Inanna. And I was like, oh shit. And then the page flipped, and it was the story of Inanna and Timothy and his sister. And the relationship drama that has continued for thousands of years throughout human civilization shares the same root as the mythology of Inanna. Wait, just wait. By the time this video is done, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? And I'm gonna be like, just wait. And we're all gonna get along. So the cheeky guides and I and Source, God, Jesus, Mary, we're all just sitting there, like conversing in meditation. And I'm like, okay, now what? And we move to the present moment again with these people, my family dynamic, and then the entire way reality is presented to me to believe as it is. This whole weird Truman Show thing where I'm in a reality that is in a reality that you guys are aware of that I'm unaware of. And then there's a reality that the audience is in that they're unaware of is also a reality that has an audience. So it's in an inception layer of reality, an interwoven tapestry. A Truman Show within a Truman Show within a Truman Show. And then at the highest place, which some of you call this, or the place where it originates, is the sixth dimension, which is the headquarters of where this Truman Show starts, where the archons are, or they function from. Okay? Just wait. They were showing me then when I asked, now what? And they fast forwarded to now, and then they fast forwarded to like different layers of the book, not like different pages, but different layers of the book. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, interdimensionality, remember? And I'm like, oh, right. So then I saw the story of the archons and the goddess Sophia and Yaldabaoth. And I was like, no. And they're like, what if you were Yaldabaoth? And I'm like, I'd have mommy issues then, wouldn't I? And they're like, wouldn't the mommy issues you've had, aren't the mommy issues, the mother wound, isn't that relevant to the situation with Yaldabaoth and Sophia? And I was like, absolutely. We've already been over this. What's the problem? They're like, but think about it. What happened in that realm of the aeons and the Great Mother for an aeon to have done that? That means there's an entire story over there too. And to me, here, it seems like it's in a completely different layer of reality. It's myth and legend. But if we follow the same intellectual path and neural network regarding the fifth, sixth, seventh, etc. dimensions, then that layer, which we perceive to be so far away and so fantasy and woo woo, is just another dimension of reality where a mother abandoned her child or was taken away from her child. And then comes the drama of the child and how it grows without the presence of that love. And then we have modern society. Everybody seemingly suffering from the same dramatic, traumatic wound that is associated with the mother and the son, and an absent father or a father that's there but allows suffering. Sound familiar? Just wait. I'm so done with this. Like, so done with it. So now we have the remembrance of the Great Father, the thing that Sophia went to look for and went, where's Sky Daddy? Well, why was Sky Daddy hiding in the first place? Let's humanize the story, shall we? Who's Sophia's mother? Who's the Great Mother's mother? Because so far people are like, oh, the Father. Okay, the Father is obviously there. The God, the Father, it's there. The Holy Spirit, it's there. No matter what you call it. Then there's the Great Mother. She's there no matter what you call her or don't call her. But where did they come from? And it goes on and on and on infinitely. And then when you look at the macro of it all, it's one being and the masculine and feminine energy within them playing out in these stories until the story somehow enacts an experience perceived through mortal eyes that causes forgiveness, compassion, empathy, comfort, coziness, warmth, happiness, joy, and a sense of letting go of the need to feel negative vibrations regarding other people, and to have the strength to overcome lower urges such as lust, rape, etc., that have a root stemming from the wound of the son desecrating the mother to show the mother how much the mother hurt the son. Okay? On the same token, the daughter perpetually causes pain to her partners to show them how her father hurt her. So when your girlfriend is witching, bitching, fighting, doing whatever, gossiping, it's basically a cry for help to her father that she feels is absent and she needs to protect herself. Because the masculine energy isn't there. Because the feminine energy within her has been forced to pretend to be masculine. So then it's a distorted masculine, which then sets an example to her sons and daughters regarding what masculinity is, which then causes distorted senses, genetics, and aberrations through human behavior, which then have to be corrected. And that correction requires humility on everyone's part. Because everything you're doing, including masturbation and sex, goes right back to the wound of the mother and the father. How? Because you were created in that moment. And that's all the soul seeks to attain. Throughout all experiences, it searches for home. What is home? The moment of highest joy between the mother and the father, where the being was released into life. And it felt free and loved and accepted. That's why people rape. That's why people kill each other. That's why people betray each other. That's why people sleep around on each other. That's why your girlfriend treats you like she thinks you're her father. That's why your girlfriend or your boyfriend is treating you like you're their mother. They're replaying the relationship over and over and over until they can find a way to forgive their mother and their father for the choices that the child has made due to the mistakes the parents made. A chain of regret, never ending. And then when the feeling of regret shows up, what happens? How dare you? Enjoy yourself while I suffer. Don't you sense the regret I feel? That's the subconscious signal that goes I'm going to do something stupid. Fuck that bitch. Why? Because you want to feel closer to your source. That feeling of orgasm, that feeling of sexual lust, that feeling of intimacy between anyone, mother and child, friend and whatever. It's a bond, it's a connection, energetic and physical. If you follow the thread back, that's where it goes. The mother, the father, Inanna to Musi, Jesus, Mary, Sophia, the great father. It's all the same. So let's bring it down to basic human day today. Your partner, cheated. Supposedly, let's use that as an example. You feeling bad about it does nothing. Those feelings are there to show you how to maneuver and control those feelings, not to give in to them. Those feelings of feeling betrayed are entities that come and say, I can bite you with this if you want. And then the poison will seep through you and you can feel this pain instead of what you're feeling. Say no. Choose a different one until the choices you have are constantly better. That's what it means to ascend. Doesn't mean glowing in light and whatever else. It means your choices you're making every day are better than the ones they were yesterday. And the choices and options you're given are better and better. What's shadow work? It's not sitting there shadow boxing. It's recognizing what instincts and words and voices and behavior you have that you don't enjoy and don't bring you good experiences. But you're doing them for a reason, or you think about doing them for a reason. It's not to nudge you to do them, it's to nudge you to see why you want to do them so that you can heal, because God is love. The great mother, the great father, Jesus, however you want to call them, it's all one and it's all love. That means everything that's happening is to teach you something about how to love yourself better. And every time you guys do something that causes conflict and discord among you and among others, you are basically spitting in the face of your creator. Every time someone RAPEs someone else, they are crying out for the love of God within them. Whether they're angry while they're doing it, whether they're violent when they're doing it, or whether they're just silent. Both parties are praying to God at that moment. One to be saved, and the other one to feel that light. Which one's which? It's always a balance of light and dark, isn't it? When a mother's standing there yelling at a child, one of them is light and one of them is dark. But in between both, there's something connecting them. What is that thing? When a girlfriend is yelling at her boyfriend because he's just not doing anything right, what is she actually saying? Why aren't you doing what my dad did to calm me down? Don't you know? And then the guy goes, no, I only know what my mother showed me regarding him, her and her father and her husband. And that's not what your mother did. So I don't know how to take care of you in that way. But instead of saying that to each other, they say, fuck you, bitch. No, fuck you. Baby daddy, sugar mama, etc. It's so tiring. It's so tiring. So, what do you do about this? You pray within and without. You have to acknowledge within yourself why it is you want to desecrate other people's lives with your pain. Why you choose to be villain instead of friend. Why you choose to create discord, pain, and suffering instead of goodness. And why you glorify that as if it's your karmic duty. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So now is the time for a lot of you to simply do some self reflection, because a lot of what's in nearly four other dimensions of reality at this point is based out of sheer and utter stupidity, a lack of integrity, a lack of respect for other people, and a very simple lack of mother and father tenderness to their children, which then created children who don't respect their elders. They see their elders and sometimes they want to hurt them or to take from them. And depending on how old the elder looks, sometimes they want to sexually assault those elders, not knowing what's good for them. Your body is your temple, and the story you carve into its walls will be remembered by your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren, and it will be a testament and a testimony to the honor you give your mother and your father for having raised you. So think real clearly the next time you are insulting someone else's life, the next time you are putting your hands on someone that doesn't want your hands on them, the next time you're viewing into someone else's home when you haven't been invited, the next time you blame your partner for something that is obviously not their fault, the next time you blame a stranger for a wound you carry that you're unaware of, the next time you want to cuss or yell or abandon the God within you or your family unit because you think it's the American or the civilized thing to do to leave your family, when even the forces of the dark know that a healthy family unit means a healthy civilization and a controlled population naturally, because happy families don't go around fucking everything to leave bastard children. Happy families are together. Crystal clear, I hope. Be aware that the beings nudging you to do self destructive things are beings who are parasitic and do not care for you. Beings that want to break the family apart, they are not even part of they. They're not part of any organization, they're not part of any structure, they're not part of anything. They are entities from the underworld that are feeding off the light. They don't belong here. That's why they want to tear the families apart. They don't care about any of it. They just want the fear energy. So stop blaming the shadow governments. Stop blaming the other ones for some of these things because it's simply stupid. Most of these problems are due to entities. I'm not excusing anything anyone's doing, but notice the head of the serpent because it is not where you are striking. And the serpent has many heads. So you can't just cut one off and think the other ones are going to stop. No, you have to go to the root, the beating heart. And the beating heart of it is that you guys are being forced to fight each other while others feed off of your energy. And it's really exhausting to constantly play defense for you guys on multiple different layers of reality. And then to be threatened daily here with the same old wounds that goddesses carried more than 6,000 years ago. And you guys are still reenacting those wounds for no other reason than physical sensations in your body that you would be able to feel even more of through kindness and love and friendship and companionship and just being a good neighbor and friend, a support system, someone to have coffee with, etc., instead of putting your hands on those people and taking what you think is yours. Do not feed the demons that whisper in your ear that another person's body is designed for your pleasure or your salvation. Remember that appendage in between your legs, or that cave in between your legs, does not give you the privilege to force anyone in it or on it. There was a reason they castrated people before. Did you know the crime for a rapist was to be castrated back in those days? It goes both ways. It's not just men or women. Like, it's not just men doing it. There's plenty of women that do this as well, and the same root energy goes back to the mother-father wound within every human being. It's been put there by design, and I'm tired of it. So, recognize it, change it, be your authentic self, and remember, flattery is not the sincerest form of flattery, or imitation is not the sincerest form of flattery. It's the deepest form of insult to yourself and to God. That you don't appreciate what you are and you'd rather be something else. That you don't appreciate your own body and giving and receiving love with consent. That's just vile. And I intend that you all learn to love yourselves so deeply that you will recognize the desecration of divinity of yourselves when you enact such vile behavior among each other, that it is shameful for some to even consider themselves a part of the species when such terrible behavior is enacted as rites of passage. Shame, utmost, for ever believing that those things bring you into initiation or passage to any cult of any wisdom, of any goddess, of any Isis, of any anything. To glorify those wounds and to keep opening them from eon to eon, through child to mother, to maintain a form of broken structure, where the woman fears the man and then the woman manipulates the son, and then the son manipulates the daughter, over and over and over and over. Enough is enough. Told you. Now, you have an option, which means you have a choice. Continue to harass your partners, your neighbors, your family, your soul, your inner child that was held by your mother, the elder version of you that would probably die alone. You have a choice for this version of you that exists now to choose a different path forward, a path of more dignity, even through mistakes and humility, a path of knowing that sometimes when God holds you in their hand and they go like this, it's not to crush you. It's to protect you from what's coming back at you for what you're doing while being held in God's hands. God will never drop you, but God will sometimes do this to you. Is this what you want? Everything is a cause and effect. The moment an intention is set into motion, the cause and effect go into effect, regardless of whether it reaches the recipient or not. Hence why black magic is so self destructive. Please care for your consciousness more than you are able to practice. Because I'm not standing in the way of any karmic repercussion for anyone anymore. Reap what you sow before the seeds even grow. That way you can recognize cause and effect and choose to be better because I love you. And I will not hold a mirror so that you can see your shadowed self anymore. I threw down the mirror and I'm telling you now, what I see is embarrassing. Clean yourselves up. Globally, I don't even know what's going on. But for people to choose perpetual discord instead of support, no, no more. Now that this seed has been planted, may your future generations recognize the error of your ways so that they can send a warning back to the past to you. Now, to change your ways. Because this wound has gone on too long among the collective. And it will not go farther with me. Heal yourself. I love you. Love yourself more than I love you. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your genitals in your pants. And have the integrity to walk on the earth that carries you before she plummets you into space. And remember, that cell phone you hold in your hand, every single thing you're saying, is also being heard by government officials 24/7. Everything. That also connects to the Inanna mother wound because she sent calls to help to everybody and nobody wanted to help her. Do you see the story playing out again? More ancient than any story you've been allowed to know. Did you also know Inanna was known as the goddess of spiders? What's an angel with four wings look like on its stomach? Okay, honey bunnies. I think I've turned your world upside down enough for the day. Please take care of yourselves. Please remember that in every other version of reality, we are friends. And in this one, we seem to be this. And I refuse to partake in it any longer. So the next time I make any videos for you, it will be to assist you in different ways. But this should be enough for quite a while. And I don't mean that I won't be here. I mean, I will keep making videos. It's just videos of this tone aren't going to be needed anymore. Because you're going to improve. Because you like yourself, don't you? I hope you do. Because deep down in there somewhere, under the personas many of you are wearing in this masquerade, there are children crying out, stop giving them poison to grab onto.